Alice is a hostage at the end of season 1. It's terrifying. She's just been in an accident. She's just agreed to this ridiculous request from someone she has no idea. And at the beginning of season 2, she's kind of just a digital nomad. Yes, she's a hacker, but she kind of has a boss. And it's this guy, John Doe, that she doesn't know. She's making good money. She's going out with her friend. And life isn't that bad, except for the fact that she's a prisoner. And she knows that she needs to get out of this. And it's terrifying and it's claustrophobic. And the voice on the other end of that phone is someone that she has no idea who it is. She doesn't know how much that they're watching her. And she knows that she has to escape.
I'm your friend, Alice. I know you.
Yeah, friends don't threaten to dox their friends when they disagree.
Friends don't typically pay friends either. I guess that makes me your friend with benefits.
That's not what that means.
I said yes to the role because, podcasts generally are something that I consume along with increasing numbers of people. And the idea of a podcast that was fictional was exciting. I liked the writing. I liked the sort of established success of the first season, the fact that there was a built-in audience, and it was fun to play a guy who was simultaneously an everyman and an international man of mystery. It was also fun to pretend that I would have any idea how to do any of this stuff.
We say there's John Doe and Dimitri. He's playing a lot more roles in his life. He's a father, he's a husband, he's a friend. He's, a man essentially living under an assumed identity. And so to see Michael embody all of that was absolutely incredible. What you hope when you write is that an actor brings things to the performance that you never even considered. And if that isn't happening, then you poorly cast the role. That we never had to worry about that with Michael.
There's nothing better when you're an actor than working with another actor and getting given these little gifts by an actor. You don't just barrel down with your lines. You don't just say the lines the way you rehearsed them. You live them in the moment with a person. And so Michael, I knew, was going to bring a dimension that he's brought many times that I've seen on the screen in the past. And I was excited to work with that energy.
Michael C. Hall makes a great John Doe because of the depth he can bring in this persona. John Doe is a complicated guy. He's got a lot of frustration. He wants to be good. He's probably a good person in life with his family, his social life. Obviously, his life turned sour at some point. And he has a lot of, I'd say, regret. He has a lot of, he has personal vengeance, obviously, against Andre. And so that makes for a complicated guy.
It's fascinating to think of someone who, we all have different masks that we wear in different situations and different ways of being that we cultivate, in some cases maybe unconsciously, but this is a guy who's made a completely conscious attempt to hide and to craft a persona to sort of navigate his way through a dangerous world. And I think it's interesting to consider a person who's done that to such an extent that that's the person they are presenting to their most intimate relations, his wife, his son, I don't know, maybe there's something in my past that makes me well suited to consider such a thing. But yeah, I think we all have things that we present the world that are to some degree out of sync with who we really are, and to play someone who's consciously doing that and doing it by degrees and in layers, it just makes Dimitri an interesting character.
To what do I owe this pleasure?
Oh, cut the BS, John. Did you send my brother flowers?
To celebrate his engagement, on your behalf. But more importantly, I had to make sure you were telling the truth.
Just leave him out of this, okay?
Family is everything, Alice. And you've been so busy with work, you haven't gotten Ryan and Natalia a single gift.
John, stay away from them. They have nothing to do with you.
If they know you, they have everything to do with me.
It's absolutely terrifying to listen to these conversations. The way that the character plays with Alice constantly, the way that he's short with her, the way that he jokes with her, the way that he knows all of this information about her, is so understated, but just absolutely terrifying to think of this person on the other end of a phone call that controls your entire life.
I think he starts out really running the show and manipulating her and pulling the strings, and by the end finds himself in a situation where he's completely dependent on her willingness to cooperate with him to save maybe both of their lives, but certainly his own. That's as sort of dynamic or broad spectrum a journey as you can go on. And it's interesting, like the more adversarial their relationship becomes, the more honest it becomes, the more intimate it becomes in a way, and the more vulnerable he, almost by necessity, is required to be, but gets to be. I mean, I think there's probably some satisfaction in being in a state of need and revealing himself in a way that he never is forced to. And everything about Alice that has frustrated him and driven him crazy is the thing that saves them both in the end, and he has to kind of surrender to her ability to operate in a state of relative chaos.
It's a really complex relationship between Alice and John Doe. She's sort of his hostage, but at the same time, he's giving her a very defined role that she can feel some power in. I mean, she feels, she's under his power, and at the same time, she's also like a little more socially adept than he is. She knows when she can sort of get his goat, she can kind of like say things that sort of throw him off of his little high horse or his whatever trip he's on, where he's trying to be really like have his crime boss persona or whatever it is. Like, she knows she can sort of get to the core of who he is, and I think that's a power for her.
John Doe is every bit as normal as Alice is, right? And probably every bit as normal as most hackers are. I mean, to a certain extent, that's the point of the show, that this person is your neighbor, your sister, your colleague, your friend. And for us, that's always been kind of the motto, that we don't want this to be a distant, evil, shadowy figure. I mean, even if that's the perception at the start in season 1, that isn't the reality. And from the beginning, you see strip back the layers of Alice, that she is quite normal. And we do the same for John Doe, but in reverse.
The upgrade was meant to fix some issues that occurred when newer GPS systems were attached to the old control center. Basically, the format they used for time and timestamps was outdated, so the software was upgraded to use the ISO International Time Standard.
So the old timestamps you used in the hack didn't align with the new software.
Exactly.
It's super important that this show is hyper-realistic, that all the things could actually happen. And we're very fortunate to work with Tenable because they have such a smart team of researchers and security experts that can actually look at all this stuff and verify that this could actually happen, that these threats are actually real.
It's not obvious for a company like Tenable to communicate through a fiction, right? Through an entertainment. We are a cybersecurity company. We protect enterprises. We have customers. We're not a media company. We're not an entertainment company. The main reason why I think we launched the Hacker Chronicles is, despite the fact that we are aiming at protecting large enterprises and large organizations, we feel a responsibility towards the, I'd say, overall cybersecurity of our society, right? And our society suffers a lot from a cybersecurity standpoint from a lack of knowledge, a lack of general understanding about what is cybersecurity, who are really in real life the hackers, what are they doing, how do they do it, what are their motivations, etc., etc. And so we wanted to find a way to transfer that kind of knowledge to the general public in a way that was memorable.
We're trying to fuse two worlds here, right? And I think that's where the difference from other media comes. It's the most engaging, fictionalized form of hacking you'll find, and probably the most realistic form of fiction you'll find. And we really try to strike that balance. Nothing happens in this show that hasn't or couldn't happen in real life.
Some hacks are kind of fictionary in the sense that, like I said, they haven't happened. I'm thinking about the boat hack, for example. But they are totally feasible, and I think we're going to see them, unfortunately, in real life fairly soon.
I believe that it could actually happen while knowing that I'm not someone who could make any of it happen. I mean, these people might as well be magicians. If I did have this power, I hope I would use it for good rather than ill. But I don't have that aptitude or patience or any of it, so I just, I think a big part of the fun of being an actor generally and doing this specifically is being able to take imaginative leaps that allow you to be capable in ways that you're not really